Beautiful soul, there is a moment right before something big shifts in love, when the heart feels it before the mind understands it. A tightness in the chest. A strange quiet where there used to be noise. A pull towards someone who feels far away and impossibly close at the same time. If you have felt that in the last few days, dear one, this message was written for you before you even knew you needed it. Before we go further, I want you to do one small thing. Type "love is here" in the comments below, just so I know this message found you at the right moment. It helps me know you are truly here, receiving this with an open heart. Dear one, you need to be still for a moment and really listen. The bond you share with your soulmate is no longer able to live only where it has been living. Your soulmate is tired. Tired of holding a love in thought that was always meant to be held in real life. What used to be enough simply isn't anymore. And that is not a failure. That is a sign of growth. You have been strong. Strong for continuing to believe on the days when nothing seemed to be happening. Strong for keeping a small flame burning inside you, even without knowing if the other side would choose to stay close. But today, with all the tenderness of the universe behind these words, I need to tell you that what you two share can no longer stay hidden in the quiet corners of feeling. Something important is arriving in your life, and I want to walk you through what it means. Dear soul, pause for a moment. Welcome to the Angel's Message for You original channel. Please check the channel name carefully. It's Angel's Message for You. This is our only official channel. Beware of copycat and fake channels. Stay connected to the original source to receive authentic angel messages and true blessings. A very special thank you to dear Stephen and Gail Such Smiley for sowing your seed for Soulmate here through Ko-Fi link. Super thanks. May this seed return to you multiplied with soulmate blessings, divine protection, love, well-being, and abundance. May the angels guide and watch over you always. Thank you for your beautiful support. Blessings always. Let's know what angels want us to know. This person your heart feels so intensely no longer wants to just imagine, dream, or sense you from a distance. They no longer want the fog of almost, the ache of far away, the blur of undefined. Their love has been showing itself through actions, through distance, through silences that feel strange and heavy, because it is no longer possible to pretend that only feeling is enough. And the reason is not that the love has faded. It is the opposite. This love has grown so much that it no longer fits inside the small space you both once gave it. While you have been holding on to the spiritual side of this connection, your soulmate has already started longing for the real thing. They want to see your eyes, hear your voice, share time, not only thoughts. That is why you have felt restless lately, maybe even confused, maybe doubtful about what is happening around you. The truth is simple. The invisible thread that has connected you has reached the edge of its current shape. It will not break, but it will change because life wants to turn something spiritual into something real. You need to understand what is about to happen. This discomfort you feel is not random or meaningless. When the soul begins to stir like this, it is telling you that something new is ready to be born. Not only inside you, but right in front of your eyes. Your soulmate wants clarity. They want a life with presence in it. They want love that finally takes shape. That is the heart of this message. This is not an ending. It is not the end of love. It is the end of waiting. The end of settling for something that only lives halfway, only lives on the inside. This connection will not stay the way it was. And you need to be ready for what comes after, because from now on, this love will no longer live only in the spiritual world. It will be physical. It will be visible. It will be lived out loud. And even if fear whispers that you are about to lose this love, The truth is the complete opposite. You will only truly meet each other once you stop simply feeling and start living side by side. Stay with me until the end of this message, because every word here is meant to open your eyes a little wider, to help you see what is quietly being built right now, in ways you cannot yet see, but will soon feel with your whole heart. There is something you noticed over the past few days that you tried hard to ignore, but your heart would not let you look away from it. A sudden silence, an unexplained distance, a shift in tone that hurt more than any harsh word could. All of that was real, and none of it happened by accident. Your connection with your soulmate has been showing signs that something is shifting beneath the surface. This shift is not your fault, and it is not your soulmate trying to hurt you either. What is happening is simpler than it feels. The love between you no longer fits inside only the invisible. You have built something deep together, and now that depth is colliding with the lack of physical closeness. What once held the bond together, messages, thoughts, quiet signs, gentle memories, now feels thinner, almost hollow. You have felt it too. The intensity is still there. It just no longer has enough room to fully express itself. There is a bigger reason behind all of this than you might imagine. This person you feel so clearly in your chest has reached the edge of how long they can simply wait. This is not about giving up, and it is not about the end of love. It is about the need to live this love in a real, tangible way. Your soulmate wants more than energy shared across a distance. They want presence. They want closeness. They want ordinary, real days together. You might be trying to hold everything exactly as it was, afraid of losing what you have. But life is gently pushing both of you toward a bigger choice. When I say silence does not lie, it is because actions shifted before words ever did. You noticed a coolness that was not there before, a change in timing, in conversations, even in how the spiritual connection between you has felt lately. This is not a lack of feeling. This is your soulmate's heart growing tired of loving in a way that never touches the real world. This person is protecting themselves from the pain of wanting something they are not yet living. Even if you have not fully understood it until now, somewhere inside you already know the answer. This connection, in its current shape, is no longer enough for either of you. If your heart has felt tight, your thoughts scattered, your soul restless, it is because the other half of this bond is vibrating on a new frequency, and something inside you is being gently called to move with it. It is not easy to feel something changing, especially after you have put so much faith and hope into this bond. But I want to tell you honestly, dear one, you are not being left behind. You are being invited to rise. What was once held only in the heart now needs to take shape in the world. Your soulmate wants action. They want answers. They want courage from both of you. And even though this distance feels frightening right now, it is doing something important. It is breaking the illusion that feeling alone is enough. It isn't. Not anymore. Love is now asking for a real, grounded choice. The distance you have felt lately is simply a reflection that the season of keeping everything only spiritual has come to an end. This person is quietly wondering whether you have the courage to live what you both already know exists between you. You may not have noticed it clearly yet, but the world around you has already started sending signs. Small inner shifts, unexpected thoughts, strange feelings the moment you wake up. All of this is life speaking to you gently, calling you out of the waiting room and into the moment of decision. This connection is changing shape because love is asking to actually happen. Maybe you believed that simply waiting would be enough, that things would sort themselves out over time. But today I want to tell you the moment has already arrived. The message has already been delivered. Reality has already started calling your name. Your soulmate is tired of keeping this love only in intuition and quiet knowing. If you pay close attention, you will notice there is no more room left for only dreaming. It is time to live. Everything that has felt uncomfortable inside you lately is not absence. It is a sign that this bond is about to transform into something much bigger than it has been. For a long time, you held on tightly, believing that simply feeling was enough. You fed yourself on signs, on gut feelings, on small coincidences that made your heart beat a little faster. You created a quiet space inside yourself where this person could live, even when the outside world did not fully understand it. And for a long time, that truly was enough. The connection between you and your soulmate has been intense, alive, present in nearly every thought you have had. But lately, what once made you feel hopeful has started to feel like something missing, like air you cannot quite catch. The soul knows, deep down, when it is being invited towards something greater. And that is exactly what is happening to you right now. The bond still exists. It just does not fill you the same way anymore. Love has not lessened. What has changed is the size of the need underneath it. The feeling has grown, matured, and it simply no longer fits inside distance. Your soulmate is tired of feeling close only in thought. They have begun to long for something real, to share time, to live the small details of life together. This is no longer only about an invisible connection. It is about presence. It is about waking up knowing you can lean on each other, not only on a spiritual level, but through touch, through a look shared across a room, through real, everyday moments. You might be wondering if this really is the right time. You might wonder if the other side feels exactly what you feel. But the answer has already been showing itself through actions. Not only in words you have heard, but in absences, in shifts of rhythm, in the distances that never quite got explained. This is not rejection. This is a heart that has grown tired of loving something it cannot fully touch. Your soulmate is asking for more, asking for truth, asking for a kind of love that survives on real actions, not only on quiet signs. I know it is hard to hear this. I know the safety of a purely spiritual connection can feel like shelter on a stormy day. But that shelter has become too small now. There is no more room to hide this love behind excuses or delays. The season of waiting is dissolving, gently but firmly, into a season of real choice. And this choice does not depend only on you, but on both hearts staying open to it. That openness is exactly what matters most right now. Your soulmate is quietly approaching a decision, and you need to understand what that truly means. The spiritual connection between you is not being broken. It is being carried further, because what exists between you was always meant to be more than a soul bond. It was made to become love that is actually lived. No connection, however beautiful, can sustain itself forever without action, without commitment, without presence. Your love is ready for this next step, but it is also tired of waiting alone, tired of feeding a feeling that finds no echo out in the real world. This is your chance to understand what truly matters here. It is no longer about waiting for some perfect, imagined moment. It is about building something real with the time you actually have. What was once invisible is now trying to become visible. What was once only spiritual is now asking for space, for time, for a real place in your life. And if fear rises up in you right now, please remember, fear freezes people in place, but true love moves people forward. This love is asking to happen for real. This person did not come this far in your story to settle for something incomplete. Even without saying it out loud, your soulmate is asking for something real, for a love that is more than energy exchanged quietly in the dark, a love that wants to be seen, honored, taken seriously. What this connection represents goes far beyond only the spiritual. Their heart has grown tired of giving only halfway, without receiving the same in return within the real physical world. What this person wants now is more than to feel. They want to actually be with you. This quiet request did not come through demands. It came through the silence of unanswered messages, through disappearances you could not quite understand, through the way this person slowly reached out a little less often. It is not disinterest. It is quiet frustration. It is the ache of wanting something that never seems to move forward. It is hard to accept that a feeling which once felt like enough has slowly turned into a real need. But this need is not about control. It is about care. Your soulmate wants to know if you will stay only in the spiritual, or if you will take a real step toward what truly matters. And that step is not only physical. It is emotional too. It is about commitment, about choosing, about making this love a real priority. Because love without action can quietly suffocate the person carrying it. This is your chance to show that what you feel is exactly as true as you say it is. You can keep living inside the safety of only feeling, but that choice carries a real cost, the risk of losing a love that came into your life for a reason. Or you can choose to take the step that life is quietly asking of you. Because everything around you is calling you to step out of only the spiritual and into the real. This person wants to know if they can truly find you in the place where love actually happens, out here in real time. Everything you have felt in the deepest part of your heart has been heard. Every quiet thought sent in silence, every trembling hope, every wish made in the middle of confusion, none of it went unnoticed. Even in moments when you felt completely alone, something greater was always watching over what was unfolding. Because true love is never truly lost in silence. It rises until it reaches something bigger than both of you. And you were not the only one asking. Your soulmate has been asking too. In the middle of days filled with distance, in the middle of indecision, in the middle of longing to finally live this love fully, there has been a quiet cry from them as well. Not always in words, but in longing, in a strong desire to make this love real that could no longer stay hidden only inside the chest. When two hearts ask for the same thing this honestly, something bigger begins to move. Nothing happening right now is a coincidence. This pressure you have felt, this quiet urgency for change, this discomfort with everything that once felt like enough, all of it is part of the answer slowly arriving, piece by piece, to transform this connection into something that finally goes beyond only the invisible. You are being prepared to live exactly what you have been asking for, but you also need to be willing to step outside of where you currently are. Nothing this meaningful ever arrives in a shallow way. And this love, because it runs so deep, is asking for real change, first inside you and then out in the world. That is why you have felt the ground shift beneath you lately. That is why this distance has shaken you so much, because it is often in the discomfort of waiting that truth finally reveals itself clearly. And now that the truth feels clear, there is no more need to hide behind fear. What is unfolding now asks for action. Your soulmate is closer than you might imagine, even with the distance between you right now. And this is not simply a comforting phrase. It is a gentle nudge meant to wake something up inside you. This person is being moved by something bigger too, something quietly pushing both of you toward the same turning point. And if you do not recognize what that means, you risk missing the chance to live this love in its purest, most real, most present form. I want you to know that everything unseen has already begun moving. What has already been felt and asked for by both of you is already being acted on. What looks like distance, pain, or doubt from the outside is actually preparation. It is the quiet process of clearing away what no longer serves, so your story can be rebuilt on truer ground. But this rebuilding depends on you, on your openness, on your willingness to finally live what, until now, has only been felt. There is no benefit in waiting for everything to unfold without your own willingness to meet it halfway. The season of simply staying passive is coming to a close. Love is asking for action, courage, presence, and that is exactly what is being asked of you now. Your soulmate's heart feels heavy, waiting quietly for some kind of clarity. And everything around both of you is being arranged so that clarity finally becomes possible. But it has to come from within you first. It has to come with honesty. Please do not assume everything is lost simply because this season feels confusing. The biggest turning points in life almost always arrive with a little turbulence first. What is happening between the two of you right now is the quiet announcement of something greater. It is life's way of saying, yes, this love has a purpose, and yes, it can exist fully in the real world, but only if both people are ready to leave behind the idea of love and step fully into the experience of it. Nothing this true is ever treated carelessly. And if you are hearing this message right now, it is because it is time to become aware. Everything you have hoped for, everything you have quietly dreamed of with real faith, is beginning to take shape. But it will not arrive exactly the way you pictured it. It will arrive with honesty, with intensity, and with an invitation to finally let go of fear. Your soulmate feels all of this too. They are also searching for answers, also looking inward, also realizing that this connection can no longer live only in the spiritual. This love is asking to happen. And the urgency beating inside you right now is not anxiety. It is a quiet calling telling you the time has finally come. The waiting has served its purpose. It made both of you stronger. The distance served its purpose too. It brought a kind of clarity that comfort alone never could. But now the answer has arrived, and everything is beginning to shift. While you have been trying to make sense of everything happening, life has already quietly begun arranging what needs to unfold next. Nothing is standing still. Nothing has been lost. The quiet stretches without answers, the shifting signs, the unexpected changes in your soulmate's behavior, all of it is part of something bigger being carefully prepared. A plan gently guiding this love out of waiting and into reality. You have not been forgotten or set aside. On the contrary, you are right at the center of something meaningful that is unfolding as we speak. And even if everything looks confusing on the surface, underneath it all, there is already movement pushing both of you toward the choice that truly matters, choosing to live this love fully. The spiritual side of your connection is not being taken away. It is being redirected into something stronger, steadier, and more present. That is exactly why you have been feeling so many mixed emotions lately. Times it feels like everything might fall apart. At other times, the longing presses so strongly that it convinces you there is still something real between you. And there is. Just not in its old shape anymore. That quiet, invisible bond that has held you together for so long now needs to transform into something you can actually see and touch. The plan quietly unfolding right now is preparing you for exactly that. Your soulmate is being touched by this same calling. Even if the two of you are not speaking as often as before, even if there seems to be a gap between you right now, there is a kind of alignment happening beneath the surface. A quiet nudge causing this person to rethink everything, question everything, and feel deeply that things cannot continue exactly as they are. Their heart feels restless, not out of doubt, but out of a real desire to finally live this love, not just imagine it. Nothing about this unfolding is coincidence. every memory that returns to you unexpectedly. Every moment something reminds you of this person's name or face. Every strange, unexplained feeling that rises out of nowhere. All of it is a quiet confirmation that you are being guided, not to keep things exactly as they are, but to allow this love to step into a brand new phase, one where the spiritual and the real finally meet. It is completely normal to feel afraid. After all, leaving behind the space where everything was felt but nothing required real action is genuinely challenging. But the discomfort you feel right now is actually a clear answer in itself. You can no longer wait for the other side to move entirely on their own. Something bigger is asking you to take your place fully in this. It is showing you that what you have built together is strong, but it also needs a place to stand in the real physical world. And here is something powerful worth noticing. Even without speaking, even without being physically close, the two of you are still reaching each other in thought. But that no longer brings the same comfort it once did. Instead, it stirs up a kind of restlessness, because the soul always recognizes when the season has changed. And the season has changed. Everything surrounding this connection is expanding now so that love does not get lost in almost, in someday, in maybe. This is a strong calling, a gentle warning that the season of waiting is ending, and everything that has been quietly heard is now moving both of you forward. You are being gently pushed out of fear. Your soulmate is being pulled toward the desire to truly live this love. And in the middle of it all, life is quietly preparing the right moment, the right place, and a real opportunity for both of you. But none of it will matter without a real decision. As confusing as everything may feel right now, the truth is that it is all slowly coming together. Not the way you may have imagined, but exactly the way it needs to. What lies ahead will ask for honesty. It will ask you to stop hiding behind only the spiritual and start choosing to act, because this plan can only come to life if there is openness in both hearts. Nothing you have felt was wasted. No memory was a waste of your time. No connection was simply invented by your mind. Everything has been part of what is unfolding right now. But from this point forward, there is no more room for indecision. Either this love becomes real, lived life, or it slowly fades from a lack of action. What could once be gently postponed is now calling for a real decision. This is no longer about doubt or confusion. It is about honesty. The moment of surrender has quietly arrived, and somewhere inside, you already know it, because your heart can no longer carry the feeling that something important is hanging by a single thread. That inner pressure, that urge to finally resolve things, that need to act. None of it is random emotion. These are signs that the time to hide has passed. You were not brought this far just to live halfway. You were not guided through this connection just to stay stuck between hope and frustration. What brought you here was real, but what carries you forward now must be lived. There is no more room to hide behind saying, "I don't know what to do." Deep down, you have always known. The difference now is that the moment is asking for action, and love is asking for something given back in return. Your soulmate is standing at this same turning point, feeling the same discomfort, carrying the same weight of having nowhere left to hide inside their own heart. This person no longer wants to feel love without ever being able to touch it. And even without saying it directly, the way they have pulled back, changed their behavior, softened their intensity, all of it is a quiet cry for a decision. This is not meant to rush you. It is simply a reminder that choosing to live something true always takes courage. Waiting for something that never seems to arrive slowly wears a person down inside. And if you both feel this much, why keep living as though nothing is happening at all? Everything on the spiritual side has already shown you what it could. This connection has already done its part in bringing two hearts together. What is missing now is real surrender. Life is lining up the paths, but it cannot make the choice for you that only you can truly decide. Life is gently pushing you toward a decision. The signs are everywhere around you. The intensity of these recent days, the sudden waves of longing, the unexplained emptiness that shows up without warning. All of it is telling you that you cannot keep pretending everything is fine, because right now it isn't. Love is asking for space, for action, for honesty. And you need to decide what you will do with it. This is not about doing something huge or dramatic. It is about doing something real. A message that says what you truly feel. A step in the right direction. A choice that shows the love you have built together actually has weight and meaning. Because the season of keeping everything as only a quiet promise is over. Now is the moment to bring this feeling out into the world. To let this love step out of the dream and into life. You have come too far to give up now. But you also cannot keep hiding behind later. Love asks for presence right now, in this moment. The surrender being asked of you today is the key that can open the next chapter of your story. You have felt this love inside you so many times, with a force that almost feels impossible to explain, moments where you believed simply feeling it was enough to feel happy. That imagining it, sensing it, keeping your heart quietly connected to it, was enough. This is no longer about feeding quiet hope or holding on to faith that one day things will simply shift on their own. Now it is about taking this love out of the realm of wishing and turning it into something real. Your soulmate feels all of this too. Even without speaking to you the way they used to, even while trying to hide behind pride or fear, they feel the exact same urgency. Part of their heart is tired of waiting, tired of quietly hoping, tired of imagining a someday that never seems to actually arrive. What they long for now is to truly share a life with you, and they are closer to a decision than you might think. The bond between you still exists, but it has turned into something closer to a calling. Either it becomes something concrete, or it will not be able to hold on much longer. The feeling is real, but it needs a real place in the world to actually happen. It needs actions to confirm everything that has been felt, shared, and quietly promised between you. Love only truly survives when it is lived, and you are being prepared for exactly this step. A love this deep is never awakened unless it is meant to be fully lived. Love is here, quietly asking to happen, but it will only truly be born if it is lived out. And if you want it to last, you have to understand that feeling is only the beginning. Living is what actually sustains it. This is the moment to set fear down, to let go of the excuses you have built for yourself, to stop hiding behind the idea that maybe it just isn't the right time yet. The time is now, and if you do not take a stand, life will quietly move in a different direction, toward other possibilities, other paths, because nothing that refuses to be born waits forever. Now, one honest question remains. Is what is happening the end of this connection, or the beginning of something far greater? And maybe the answer is already gently beating inside your chest. Even if part of you still wants to resist it, this bond is not ending. It is changing shape. It is maturing. It is finally moving from the spiritual into something real. Everything you have lived until now had real value. Every quiet exchange, every strange little coincidence, every feeling that tied you together even across distance. But now this spiritual connection has reached the point where it simply cannot carry everything on its own anymore. Love has grown. The desire to live it fully has grown. The need to turn all of it into real action has become bigger than anything else. This is not about cutting ties or losing something. It is about letting go of a form that no longer fits. The old shape simply cannot hold this feeling anymore. What once guided you gently now calls to you with real urgency, because the season of waiting has passed. What this love needs now is room in the real world. It needs courage. It needs surrender. And more than anything, it needs presence. If you let fear speak louder than your heart, this connection will start to weaken, not from a lack of love, but from a lack of response. Because every love, no matter how deep, needs something given back. Your soulmate is standing at an emotional edge, quietly asking themselves every day, is it worth continuing to feel this without ever living it? Is it worth holding on to a love that never finds action on the other side? This is the most delicate part of this whole message, because the connection between you still very much exists. But from here forward, it can only survive if it is fed by real, honest actions. There is simply no longer enough spiritual energy alone to sustain this bond. Now, either love happens or it slowly fades. Not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. The soul is asking for renewal. The heart is asking for clarity. Maybe right now you feel a tightness in your chest, and that makes complete sense. You are standing at a real turning point, but that tightness also carries a quiet message. It is entirely in your hands to let this love move beyond only the connection. It is your choice to show that this feeling has the strength to become something lived, something built, something present in your everyday life. The end of this connection, as you have known it, may feel inevitable, but it does not have to be the end of love. It can be the beginning of a brand new chapter, one where both of you choose to stop loving from a distance and finally start living side by side. Where you stop waiting and start building, where you step out of quiet, inner promises and into a story that can actually be seen, touched, and confirmed. Everything felt until now was not an illusion. All of it had a real purpose, but that purpose was never to keep you waiting forever. It was always meant to prepare you to live fully. And now you are ready, even with fear. Even with doubts, you are standing before the greatest opportunity of all, the chance to turn a spiritual connection into a real, shared life. You have the right to choose here. You can stay stuck in how things used to be. You can try to keep everything exactly the same, even if it hurts to do so. Or you can understand that the ending of this old phase is actually a quiet gift, a gentle push into a new, truer stage. One where feeling is simply no longer enough. It has to be lived. And if living it feels scary, please remember, there is no true love without a little risk. But the risk of never trying at all is always the greater one. Today, you are standing right in front of this choice. And every quiet hope this journey has carried was always leading to this exact moment. The instant you would finally understand that the end of the old connection is not a loss, but the beginning of a love that, for the first time, can be lived fully and completely. This is the start of something much bigger. And if your heart says yes, everything can change from here. Dear one, life has been preparing you for this moment through small signs, quiet instincts, and invisible threads of connection. You have carried this love on the most delicate plane there is, trusting what you could not see, holding tightly to what you could only feel. But now, something bigger is asking for more. It is asking for action. It is asking for surrender. It is asking for the emotional courage to carry this love beyond only thought and give it a real, lasting place in your everyday life. Your soulmate is standing at this exact same turning point too. Maybe not in the same way, maybe carrying different fears, but with the same deep need, not only to feel this love, but to actually live it with presence. And that is exactly why everything around you has started to shift. The distance, the different reactions, the unexpected behavior, all of it has been a quiet, hidden request from a heart that has simply grown tired of waiting alone. You already sense that this connection will never look exactly the way it did before. Not because it ended, but because it transformed, and that, in truth, is a gift. It means it has evolved. It has moved from a stage where simply existing quietly was enough, into a stage that now needs to be lived with honesty, with real decisions, with actions that support what your heart has wanted so deeply all along. There may still be a part of you that fears taking this step, that lingers on doubts, on what might go wrong, on all the what-ifs. But at this point in your journey, the biggest risk is no longer surrendering to love. It is holding yourself back. It is continuing to feed a connection that no longer has room in the physical world, until you eventually watch it quietly fade from neglect. Your feelings have been true from the very beginning, and now you have the chance to make this love into far more than a memory. You can make it real. What this message wants you to understand is simple. The old shape of this connection has ended, not to hurt you, but to free you, so you do not stay trapped in what could have been, and instead step fully into what still can be, right now, for real. The coming days will bring even stronger signs, deeper insights, unexpected encounters, and thoughts you simply cannot let go of. Pay attention, not to fool yourself, but to truly understand what is being shown to you so clearly, because the love you feel is being gently guided toward its most decisive moment. And if you are ready, everything can change. Allow yourself this. Take a step forward, even without guarantees. Surrender to what is asking to come through, because this is not an ending. It is the beginning of a love that this time will finally be born from everything you have both carried, hoped for, and quietly wished into being. And always remember, you are never walking through this alone. There is always love and guidance surrounding you, quietly present, gently supporting you, every single day. Thank you for opening your heart to this message and letting these words reach you exactly when you needed them. You are the reason this kind of gentle guidance matters, and you are part of a much bigger circle of people choosing to walk toward love, hope, and light. May you feel peace, courage, and clarity as you face whatever comes next. Know that you are never truly alone. There is strength and infinite love surrounding you always, helping you stay steady, confident, and radiant, no matter what. Thank you for being here and letting this message reach your heart today. May peace and gentle blessings stay with you, now and always, with infinite love. Amen.